Dandridge, Tennessee. It was established in 1793. That rhymed. But it was named after Martha Dandridge, Washington. That's right. Our first president's wife, Martha Washington. Her maiden name was Dandridge. So there's a little tidbit. So you know where we're at today. Let's go. Let's see who we can find. Hey guys, welcome back. We are at the old Dandridge Cemetery in Dandridge, Tennessee, and it's in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. And in this video today, we're going to be looking at this old cemetery in the small town of Dandridge. Here's a picture of the cemetery. Now in this photo, it was taken last year, and it looks like some headstones have just been piled up for some reason. So if any of you guys know why it was done, leave us a comment and let us know. I hope that they're restoring it, and you know, like I said, you know how I am. I like for things to be fixed and restored and preserved for our grandchildren and those to come. So anyway, the map shows that the cemetery is located just off of Hopewell Street, close to the downtown area of Dandridge. Now, if you've not been to Dandridge, I highly suggest that you go visit this cute little town. It's got so many historical buildings still standing from the early 1800s. It's got Douglas Lake. It's, like I said, at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. You guys will not be disappointed. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, the earliest burial that we can find in this cemetery was 1789, so you know it's going to be old. So hopefully we can find some early settlers and some ancestors. So let's get started here. Now, they are 37 people, only 37 people buried here. The first one is Robert E. Boyce, and they called him Bobby, 1979 to 1998. So yes, that is a newer headstone, a newer person here. We got Anna Lila Branner. We do not have a birth date for her, but she passed in 1868, so that could be a birth date and a death date. We're not sure. We got Melinda H. Bunn, like the coffee, Bunn, B-U-N-N. 1942 to 1993. That's also a newer grave. Henry Crawford, 1913 to 1989. Charlotte Drake, 1913 to 1984. Now we have David Otha Vagala, 1811 to 1866. And his wife, Penelope F. Randalls Vagala, 1819 to 1902. Now, Vagala, to me, is a very unusual name, but I think we may have found it in a cemetery back of this. Not sure, but yeah, that's a unique surname. So you guys let me know if you got some ancestors with that. We did find a photo of Penelope, though. Look at there. And this is a picture of a receipt that they had found, dated 1863, that David and Penelope got from the Confederate Army when they sold them 6,000 pounds of wheat for just over $537. So that's a lot of wheat and a lot of money back then. Now you can see David's signature in the lower corner on your right. And they lived in Catoosa County, Georgia at the time. They also sold the Confederates corn, apples, and feed for their livestock. So I don't think that they was, just because they sold them all this stuff doesn't necessarily mean that they sided with the Confederates. I mean, that was a way of making a living back then, Confederate or Union. So Could be. Don't know. Don't know that. Let's move on. We got Jessie Lee Fagala. She was born on June the 20th of 1876 and only lived for 10 days. Arthur Free, 1908 to 1985. That's a newer one. Florence, Iowa Gass, 1853 to 1855. And she was only almost 2 years old when she passed. We have William Baxter Gass, 1822 to 1865. Now, William served in the Company G of the 9th Tennessee Cavalry in the Union Army during the Civil War. He died before the end of the war, and unfortunately, we don't know what happened to him. Did he die in the war? Did he catch some kind of, disease? We don't know what happened to William, but if you guys know, let us, leave it in the comments. That would be great. We have Ralphine Swan Henry. Ralphine, that's a new one. 1910 to 1934. Mildred Howe, 1923 to 1987. Joseph Hamilton Hines, 1834 to 1883. Now, the Hines is spelled a little differently than I'm used to. This Hines is spelled Hynds. So, Hines, yeah. Joseph served in the Company K of Colonel William Brazilian's, that was hard to say, 1st Tennessee Cavalry of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. And he held the rank of 2nd Lieutenant. He also fought in the Battle of Vicksburg, so he's seen some stuff. And then we have his brother, William Moore Hines, 1827 to 1843. Next is Lemuel B. Martin, 1875 to 1930. Mary Frances Coboth Martin, 1848 to 1922. And we found out that she was born in Virginia. Her husband, Robert Milton Martin, 1853 to 1916. And Robert was also born in Virginia in Washington County. We have an unknown daughter of the Mitchell family, 1851 to 1869. And if you can see, the top of her headstone's missing. Her first name was probably on that. So I'm sure if people are restoring that cemetery, they may be able to find that. You can just take a steel rod and just kind of poke the ground, gently. You don't want to break a stone, but they may find that. So we could add that to this video. We have Rachel Nicholson, 1816 to 1872. And if you'll notice the broken flower on her headstone, it symbolizes that that person departed this life way too soon. We have Cordy Park, 1845 to 1920, and her husband, William Park, 1845 to 1921. Next is Don C. Pennington, 1910 to 1980. Then Charles Richards, 1935 to 1994. That's a newer one. And now we have, I think, is a first settler, Andrew G. Russell, 1738 to 1789. Now, we don't have a picture of his grave, but we do know that he was born in Augusta County, Virginia. And we think that he is the very first person that was buried here. And Andrew served as a captain during the American Revolution. So this is a picture of the Russell family crest. So I know there's people out there that look for the Revolutionary, the Sons of the Revolutionary chapter. They need to probably look this over for sure. and do some ground penetrating radar. I think they have access to that, and see what they can find on him, because he is a first settler and he did fight in the Revolutionary War. So yeah, absolutely. We also have his wife, Margaret Campbell Christian Russell, 1746 to 1790. And there is no photo of her grave either, but we do know that she was born in Augusta County, Virginia also. So let's move on. We got Mary L. Sterrett Shadden, 1812 to 1878. And if you look and see, there's a hand-carved place on her headstone with one finger pointing up toward heaven. So she knew where she was spending eternity. She was ready to go. Then we have Elizabeth J. Shedden, 1854 to 1855, and she lived only a year. So we got a Shadden, Shadden, and a Shedden. And if you keep going, you're going to see we've got another John Shedden, 1842 to 1853. I guess that would be the same family. It's just maybe a mistake on the name spelling. I'm not sure. John Hayes Shedden, 1805 to 1842. Margaret Ann Shedden, 1835 to 1853. And she died only 2 months before her brother John that we looked at earlier. So that's sad. Could have been a flu epidemic. Don't know. William Shedden, 1778 to 1841. And he was born in Virginia. Then we have a William P. Shedden. Now here we go back to the A's, the Sheddan instead of EN. 1831 to 1851. And next is Calvin Shepherd, 1843 to 1932, and his wife Mary Payne Shepherd, 1840 to 1881. They are two people that are buried here with no pictures of their graves. And we know that they are James Steele Sheehan, I think it's Sheehan, 1801 to 1871. And the last person that we found in this cemetery is Mary L. Sterrett Sheehan. So maybe they was husband and wife. Sheehan is not a common name for me to see. 1812 to 1878. So that will wrap up our look at the old Dandridge Cemetery in Jefferson County, Tennessee. And again, very small cemetery, but boy, did these people have a life. They fought. I mean, they came in here early. Some of them, early settlers, fought in the wars. Wow. I tell you, Jefferson County has a lot of history. You guys really need to check that out. We hope you like this video. And thank you guys for sharing and liking the videos that we share with you. Be sure to, share this and get it out for us. We sure would appreciate it. We try to go over and find the smaller cemeteries with the oldest history. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for some history. And so far we have found some really good history in Jefferson County. So hit the like, share, subscribe, and welcome to all of our new subscribers, and hello again to our old ones. And we'll see you next time, if the Lord's willing. God bless y'all. Bye-bye.